Motivation, or the lack of motivation. It's quite a funny concept, motivation is. You can't quite put your finger on it, you can't bottle it up and stick it in the fridge, and then when you feel a lack of motivation, drink it and you feel brilliant. It comes, it goes without warning. When you have motivation, you feel brilliant, on top of the world, optimistic, energetic, ready to take on challenges. When you don't have your motivation and you're having a lack of motivation, and you feel pessimistic, lethargic, can't be bothered. So motivation, a strange topic, let's get into it. To begin with, if you are suffering from a lack of motivation, good, because that means you're human. Every single person at some point has suffered with a lack of motivation. So it's not a problem that's unique to you only. Everybody suffers at some point with this trouble. Me included. I'd say 60–70% of the time, maybe more, it's I have a lack of motivation. I don't want to actually go out training. I've got other stuff I'd probably, at that moment in time when it's time for me to leave to go training, I'd rather do. I have other stuff. But it's how you deal with that lack of motivation that really counts. So here are a few little words about motivation that I hope will be of help to you. Now, perhaps the most powerful thing that's helped me through lack of motivation at times is the concept that time marches on no matter what you do. So time is just an unstoppable force that just keeps in a militant fashion, just marching forward, on and on and on and on. It'll roll you over and leave you behind if you don't act in the moment. You can't slow it down, you can't stop time, so it's up to you to decide how you want to fill that time, and you better use it wisely because you can only fill it once. So as an example, 2 weeks, those 2 weeks will pass, and it's up to you how you fill it. You can either fill those 2 weeks with sitting on the sofa, watching TV, having a can of beer, eating 3 bags of crisps in a row, and mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, or you can spend those 2 weeks being productive, getting out training and doing something that will benefit you. And remember, whichever one of those you choose, the time will still pass. As a quick example, when I started my university degree, I used to tell people it's going to take about 5 or 6 years to complete, and people would be like, that's ages, I wouldn't even be bothered to do that, that's too long, too long. My response was, well, that time's going to pass anyway. Those 5–6 years will pass anyway, so I can either earn my degree in the middle of it, or I can just let that time slip by. The formidable march of time will not stop for anybody, so make sure you fill and use that time wisely. Now, the next point I'd like to talk about is being able to delay gratification. And this is basically doing something that causes short-term discomfort that will allow for rewards in the long term. Here's a super quick example. Leaving the sofa when you're all warm and snuggly and watching TV. Leaving the sofa is a short-term discomfort, and to go exercises and training, which will obviously give you a long-term benefit. Now, that is being able to delay gratification, and it's really important, and we have to do this in all aspects of life, whether it's to do with relationships, whether it's to do with money, whether it's to do with health. We always have to delay our enjoyment. We have to delay gratification to work on the here and now, to experience some sort of discomfort, or whether, like I say, whether that is studying, whether that's leaving the house, whether that's embracing the cold to go running for your health, or whatever it might be. We have to experience some sort of discomfort in order to reap the rewards later on down the road. Now, this is something children are terrible at. They want everything yesterday, they want it now, and they don't understand the intricacies of goal setting and sacrificing and doing things that you may not want to do, but then you can reap the rewards later on. Children are terrible at this, so don't be like a child. Make sure that you embrace that grind, that you embrace that discomfort, that you get that particular job done there and then, so you can enjoy something later on. So if you want to enjoy a sofa day and you want to enjoy just pigging out on junk food or whatever, then you've got to experience some short-term discomfort to begin with. Then you need to get out and go training, you need to eat healthy, you need to do all these things to earn that right to pig out and for that gratification later on. To have that gratification, enjoyment of a new belt level, of passing your belt, then you've got to put the work in beforehand. You've got to experience that short-term discomfort of going training, of leaving the house when you're all warm, and putting that work in, putting the effort in to get that long-term benefit of getting that belt. Now the next point is the concept of goal setting. Now I know you've probably heard about goal setting a million times before. People they don't set goals because they either think it's some sort of hippie rubbish that doesn't work, or they don't want to set goals because they don't want to necessarily fail the goals. But having a clear, concise picture of what you want an outcome to be will really, really, really help you. Here's a good question. Why do fighters seem so motivated? Why are they training all the time? How do they have the willpower to diet and do extra training and run and all these other things? The answer is simple. It's because they have a clear, concise picture of what they want the outcome to be. Namely, they want their hand raised at the end of the fight. So the important thing is to set a whole bunch of goals. Set some easy ones, set some mediocre ones, set some really challenging ones. Whatever you want to do, 50 push-ups in a row, get to your new belt, take part in a competition, enter your first fight. It could be being able to do the splits, being able to run a mile, shave some time off running. Whatever your goal is, set some goals. And if you're not failing any goals, that means that you're not setting them hard enough. You're setting the bar too low. Have some goals that you can tick off straight away that are super easy. Have some goals that will really challenge you, that scare you a little bit. For instance, one of your massive big goals will be lose 5 stone. One of your goals might be to compete in a British Championship fight. One of your goals might be to get to black belt. So, have a really far off goal, and then you need lots of other little goals that you can tick off in the meantime as well. Be sure to keep revisiting your goals, share them, tell people about them, get excited about them, but the most important thing is to set your goals. Goals are things that will anchor you back down when your motivation pops off on holiday for a little bit. It's these goals that will anchor you and get you refocused and determined. I mean, ultimately, there is no magic sentence or thing I can say or pill to take that will give you your motivation back. Ultimately, it's a fight that you have got to fight yourself. Like I say, you can have your cornermen, you can have people there to support you and tell you what to do, but ultimately, you're the one that has to step out there and knock the lack of motivation out, so to speak, and get back in there. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.